A trial to investigate movement of nutrients and sediment from sugarcane cropping soil after application of liquid one-shot. The objective of the trial was to measure nutrient and sediment mobilisation from a sugarcane soil that had been fertilised with liquid one-shot and compare the results not only with soil treated with a standard granular fertiliser, but also with soil that had not been fertilised at all. The trial demonstrated that liquid one-shot provided a less mobile nutrient source than traditional granular fertiliser, and this resulted in significantly less mobilisation of nitrogen, phosphorus and soluble salts following rain and watering. In fact, the concentrations being moved were no greater than in unfertilised soil. Importantly, the results from this trial can be used to assist the sugar industry in reducing the rate of sediment and nutrient movement off farm and ultimately into the Great Barrier Reef catchment. The trial sought to provide objective baseline data regarding the rate, pathway and timing of nutrient and sediment movement from sugarcane soils. The critical time during which to study the movement of sediment and nutrients is during the 18 to 30 day period immediately following fertiliser application. It is during this time that nutrients can be mobilised before they are utilised by growing cane plants. The trial used a research technique called rainfall simulation to investigate nutrient losses during the critical period following fertiliser application. This research technique provided a method whereby the mobilisation of nutrients and sediment from the soil surface and through the soil profile could be measured and understood. It allowed scientists to observe the impacts of applying different types of fertiliser and no fertiliser to soil typically used to grow sugarcane. The rainfall simulator delivered rainfall at a known intensity and duration to the soil in a controlled manner. This allowed the trial to simulate rainfall events similar to a typical winter or early spring rain event for the Whitsunday area. By controlling the rainfall, the trial could focus on investigating other variables such as the type of fertiliser, time since application, and mobilisation path of nutrients, that is, either as runoff or leachate. To prepare for the trial, drums of a typical sugarcane soil were transported to Landloch's soil laboratory in Toowoomba, Queensland. The soil was thoroughly mixed and plots prepared to mimic the practices of sugarcane production in Queensland. To capture and sample leachate as it moved through the soil profile, full stops were installed in each plot. Full stops are a type of commercial detector used to monitor the movement of major wetting fronts during irrigation of agricultural soils. The trial involved application of the following treatments to a number of soil plots. Wilmar BioEthanol's liquid one-shot product was applied to the soil surface on some plots and to the soil subsurface on others. The product was sprayed onto plots using a pressurised spray bottle. Traditional granular soluble fertiliser was hand broadcast to the subsoil surface on plots. Control plots were prepared in the same manner but did not receive any fertiliser application. Once prepared, plots of soil were left open and exposed to the air, but kept under cover to ensure no uncontrolled rain fell on their surface. Simulated rainfall was applied to the plots 3 days, 7 to 11 days, and 18 to 23 days after fertiliser application. During the rainfall simulation, a number of samples were collected. These samples were analysed to measure the rate of sediment loss and to assess nutrient movement either from the plot surface or as leachate captured by the full stops. In conclusion, the results from the trial can be summarised in 5 main points. Firstly, the rate of sediment loss from the plot surfaces was similar for all treatments. The results were typical for that particular soil type without any cover, for example a trash blanket, and with moderate compaction of the soil surface. Secondly, soil treated with the traditional granular soluble product had relatively high mobilisation rates of nitrogen, phosphorus and soluble salts. This was particularly observed in the leachate. Continuing with the main trial results, it was observed that soils fertilised with the liquid one-shot product exhibited mobilisation rates of nitrogen, phosphorus and soluble salts at rates similar to those of unfertilised soils. This demonstrated that when compared to traditional granular fertiliser applications, liquid one-shot provided a less mobile nutrient source. Finally, it was also concluded that there were no significant differences in nitrogen movement when liquid one-shot was applied to either the soil surface or subsurface. Landloch Proprietary Limited is a specialist land, soil, vegetation and water management consultancy. We seek to use high-quality science to provide practical and cost-effective solutions to a wide range of situations. Wilmar BioEthanol is a leading Australian producer and importer of ethanol products. All Wilmar BioEthanol ethanol is derived from sugarcane or its byproduct molasses.